All right, there we go. We live. Welcome everybody. This is the Eternal Vintage Podcast, episode one. How's everybody
Woo!
doing?
Yeah, what's going on, folks? Hi, everybody.
Man, this is like the first one, so gotta break out the gate, JJ.
Yeah, this is the first official one
Oh,
because we
first.
did do a review together on my channel. Let's tell them about that right quick. The
Oh
last of part two review on my channel. So go ahead and check that out. Maybe we should give them the link to the channel. I don't know, both our channels. Or maybe it's in the description box.
Oh yeah, I got in the subscription now. I have JJ channel with the link in there. Because episode two is going to be going live on his. So we definitely let everybody know what's the date going to be for it. Because right now with the schedules, we're going to keep it open from Friday to like Sunday, whichever day is best for the both of us. We're going to do it, and we'll let y'all know.
That's right. Because the goal, we'll talk about this like after the show, on the Discord or whatever. But the goal here is to see like which channel gets like the most viewership, the most like attainment as far as like watch time and everything. And from there, if it gets real popular, like the goal would be to perhaps make a separate channel just for the podcast alone. That's like down the pipe. So we're just right now we're just alternating channels with this podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Giving that exposure, making sure that they get to know, not just only one person, they get to know both of everybody. So that's the goal. That's what we try to do.
Mhm.
So before we like officially really get started, because I know we probably just like went live probably in like the last 2 minutes. We gonna give it a few to get like let everybody get in here. Um, so
Okay, yeah. I'll look at the private chat. Here's the comments. So yeah, what's going on, fellas?
let me see
How
who
we
we got.
doing?
So we got G Bang. What's going on, brother? Hey, I'm gonna have to check out the Persona 4's videos. I haven't in a couple of days because I just been like really working and planning and stuff like that. But trust and believe, I got the boys ready to be watched. So I got you, Killer J. It's a pleasure. VGL, thank you so much for popping through. Ravager, what's up?
What's going on? But everybody's here for right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the first thing on the itinerary is introductions.
Yeah, introduction. So I go ahead. I go ahead. I got you. So yeah, if y'all know, AshTheMan. Now, with this introduction, I'm just going to let you guys know that your boy is going to be at random a lot of times, a lot of jokes, a lot of puns that may not make sense to everybody, but it will happen. but But for the most part, though, when it comes to this podcast, I definitely will make sure to keep everything, truthful to to me being not just only a gamer, but like an anime, watcher, lover, whatever you want to call it. And definitely, it wouldn't be nothing that would seem like I'm trying to start a cult. Hints on that. So honestly, you'll always get that you will always get the best side of anything that I'm gonna say. I'm gonna never just throw everything down the drain or what you're trying to say or what you may stand for as a player yourself. So that's me. So it's welcome to have y'all here with us.
Yeah, well, for those that haven't heard of me before, I am JJ Wilson. On the StreamYard, my name says JJ Starwing because the character on my avatar is the main character of one of my favorite animes of all time, Outlaw Star. So this is Gene Starwing you're looking at here. But my YouTube channel is just called JJ Wilson. My nickname JJ, my last name Wilson. And I've been on YouTube for about 4 years now. Well, on this channel. Actually, it's been longer than that because I had an old channel that got deleted over some copyright mess because I was putting in like Soul Calibur, Tekken music, like before the game was even released. So that's like a long story. But originally I was just more like a commenter. Like I didn't really make videos like that. I mean, I made videos in the past, but I never put on YouTube. And so one day I met this one anime guy. We were talking. And I like his stuff and everything. He's not active anymore. His name was Dan the Man Reviews and everything. Like he's still around, but he's got a son now, so he's more like a family guy. But he kind of inspired me to start making like anime content because I told him like one day, yeah, I was gonna start doing gangster reviews, like the reviews for the manga gangsters, since I saw nobody on YouTube talk about it, and I started reading it back in 2014, and I was so immersed into in that world for that particular anime. I was like, you know what, I need to go in on this. I gotta talk about it. So I started doing it. And like my very first video was like 40 minutes long, and I realized how long that was, and I was so nervous and everything. And so after a while, I got more comfortable and started, practicing my speech and everything. And it just kind of snowballed from there, Ash. And after a while, I just started doing gaming. And it's kind of like around the same time I saw Video Game Level 58's channel in 2016. And I think that was about the time I started gaming on my channel. I
Right.
think the very first game I played was Deuce X. Was it Human Revolution? I think so. It was either that or Mankind Divided. I get the years mixed up. But yeah, that's ever since then, guys. It's been a snowball effect. I just started talking about random animes I felt were really good or were just under the radar, and also playing games. Just having fun with it on YouTube. And it just kind of took off from there.
And it's crazy too because like came I came across like JJ when like he was playing Dynasty Warriors, and I'm like, oh, a fellow Dynasty Warriors player. We don't get those too often.
Yeah.
Like it was like so crazy. Then like after that, it's like I was like, yo, I'm about to check out a couple more stuff. And then one day, I went live with Dynasty Warriors. It was like, oh, you play. Oh, I see you do play Dynasty Warriors, and it was like, man, it's been like that ever since.
Dude, I was going ham on Dynasty Warriors. Like, how many streams did I do on that? I think I did like 29, maybe. My
Yeah,
record is 51. That's on Neo, the first game. I did 51 streams on that game.
I think I really went hard on Dynasty Warriors 9 because I went ahead and just
Yeah, you
like,
did. Yes, I remember watching it.
yeah, I ended up getting the platinum for it. I was like, you know what, this is like probably like the only Dynasty Warriors game that I would get the platinum because it's like it was so easy.
Wow.
Like the other ones, like it's a drag to try to get a platinum on there. That's what's crazy.
Hmm. Yeah.
So man, that is so crazy. But man, but over and all though, like the way that me and JJ did that review for The Last of Us Part Two, I was like, man, it went so smooth. I was like,
It went real smooth. Yeah.
we need to do a podcast.
Yeah. That's kind of like how this all got started, because I, I looked on the analytics and even though it had like maybe 50 views, it got 11 likes. So that's not terrible. Like, we'll take that and
Look,
everything. And
like
so just by us talking like this and everything, we figured out, yeah, we have like similar interests and we had similar viewpoints on how this game was being portrayed. And so I think we did an eloquent job just breaking down everything from the pros and the cons of the last part two. And later tonight, we're going to do the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima, before we get to the anime and gaming topics.
yeah, most definitely. Like, when we did it, and I think one of the reasons why I really like enjoyed it because it wasn't like it was biased because at the end of the day, of course, you play multiple games, play games across all platforms. But what I consider to be like the home console for me is probably PlayStation due to the diversity. But that doesn't mean that, fanboy or all that BS they be talking about. It's a choice because that's where the games is at. It'd be the same difference if like JRPGs was like exclusive to like Xbox. Probably be playing a lot more on Xbox.
Right.
It would be the same difference. And our ratings, what we said about the game, honestly, again, it wasn't biased. It was by player experience. You streamed it, you finished it before I did, so it was like you got what we actually played and witnessed for it, and wasn't just like, hey, look, I played 15 minutes of it, can't stand it. No, we actually stuck with it. We wasn't not happy about some of the things that happened, but guess what? We went through the game and actually can say we finished it, no problem.
There you go. And another important factor is we didn't listen to outside influences telling us not to play. We was like, okay, we hear what you guys are saying, but we're gonna dive deep into this game and make sure like it's not a bunch of hog maw. It's a bunch of fluff. You gotta make sure like what you guys are saying is accurate. We need to look for ourselves. That's why you and I, we both did this game like thoroughly. You know.
Right. And it goes into the factor of this, not every review or every person who says, "Oh, the game is going to be trash." It's like the game was doomed due to the, like the pre-release of like story content and spoilers that was going on. So it didn't have the great start off. Now, even with that, guess what? The game still sold. So you can say what you
Yeah, it's
want.
sold like hotcakes from what I heard.
Yeah. Now I will say this. I will be the first one to say this. The IGN review for Last of Us Part Two was BS because they gave it a 10 out of 10, which I don't agree with that, and I also don't agree with somebody giving it a 1 out of 10. Now
Yeah,
that's the thing. I feel like it had good things about it, but it also had bad things.
true that, true that.
All right. So, my brother JJ, so what we want to start with? Do we want to dive into the main thing or do you want to get the sideline stuff out the way?
Uh, we could give the bird to the chat, but let's go ahead and get the small stuff out the way with the anime and the little gaming topics that we put together.
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
start. I guess you had the itinerary. Start with the anime topic. So you said upcoming anime. Like, what are some? I guess those are newer shows that are going to be like on the lineup coming. Like
Yes.
before the year's over.
Yeah. So some of the big name animes that's like really coming out. One of the things that kind of like got my eye to the fullest is Jujutsu Kaisen. Now they had like a special premiere for it in which I went to the site that you gave me. I searched on all of the subscriptions I got. Can't find a copy of that exclusive episode, but apparently next week they're going to make a premiere of it on Crunchyroll. So I'm gonna definitely be keeping my eye out for Jujutsu Kaisen.
That's interesting because I don't know if there's more than one Go-Go anime because the one my brother sent me, I was able to find that. I guess it's episode 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen. So I was
Mm,
able to watch it, and it's about this kid in high school apparently, and apparently his grandfather died, and it seems like he has his abnormal physical abilities, but I think he encountered this fellow high school classmate who's like a sorcerer or something,
right,
and I think like late at night in high school, he's part of this club. It's like an occult club. I guess they're trying to like do exorcisms and some really crazy stuff from what I
mm,
could gather. And then next thing you know, I think they ended up summoning one of them by taking this relic. I think because like at the very beginning of the episode, like this dude was captured by this guy. I keep forgetting his name because it's like a brand new show and I'm trying to figure out what it is. And so they kept asking, "What is relic? Relic? Relic?" Like, I don't know. But he had the whole time, and I think when his classmate realized like his friends were in trouble, like this demon got summoned, I guess, and they're about to get eaten alive. Then
oh,
that guy just came out of nowhere and saved them both, but to no avail. Eventually, they got outdoors and they were able to kill the demon. But unfortunately, that guy he ate. I don't know if it was the same relic, but he ate the relic and it gave him demonic abilities. Pretty crazy stuff.
oh man, this sounds crazy. You had me when you said somebody got eaten. Like I'm totally with the violence. Oh man, I'm gonna definitely have to go back on there and check it out. Now I
I
do
may have
know.
to send you the link when the show's over.
Oh yeah. Now I do know that what is it? Golden Kamui. I know that's something that you really has been like looking forward to, right?
Yes, yeah, season 3.
Uh,
I did a while back. I did do a review on Golden Kamui. It was actually the manga that I did. I did like it was like 23, 24 minutes long. Like I went from where the anime season one ended. I can't remember the exact chapter. It was after the prison riot. It was after the prison outbreak. They was trying to get Nobunaga out of prison. Only to find out he died. He got shot by I won't mention the guy's name, but yeah, he's like a former ex-soldier or whatever.
Right.
That's the guy who killed him. I won't tell you his name, spoiler.
Oh,
So I went from that period to where Sugimoto and they were trying to follow Asura. They're trying to follow her because she went with Kyoranke to learn more about her dad. So they traveled up to Sakhalin Island, which is north of Hokkaido. If you look on the map, it's part of Russia now. So they went there for like a considerable amount of time. And eventually Kyoranke died. I'm not going to say how he died. You guys need to check out my video, Golden Kamui. I can't remember the exact title, but it's leading up to the events of, I believe it was chapter 229, I believe.
right.
And so I just went up to that point where he passed away, and now they're heading back to Hokkaido. All right, so season 3, I believe, is going to cover Sakhalin Island.
Okay. Okay. I do know that I have the manga kind of like saved in my favorites because I recently caught up with My Hero. Got to catch up with Villain Saga, and then I'm probably going to get started on Golden Kamui. So I'm gonna try to get that caught up too because I definitely want to be up to speed. Because when you did the video, I'm like, man, this sounds very interesting. My man's went into detail and everything. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, because I read the manga.
he got me with a new addiction. I'm gonna have to get caught up with this.
Oh yeah, I go in on that one, man. Man, I'm about to find a link on my channel right quick. Give me a moment. Oh, shout out to Sigma Jones, man. Appreciate you coming by. Yeah, go ahead and tell them about what's a must see, like for those that missed out on the animes this year.
Oh man, must sees this year. Honestly, let me see right now because I know it's currently still going on. Is Fire Force. Fire Force season 2 is amazing. Like when season 1 started, I was not a big fan. It didn't get good until like half of season 1, and then that's when Fire Force really like captured me as a fan. But then season 2 came out, and to me, they've been doing everything right. You know, I think it's been going in like a proper detail. They I don't feel like they rushing. So Fire Force is one. Then you got honestly, you know, ReZero. ReZero is really good. Like anybody who watches ReZero will tell you that story and the things that happens in there. Some fucked up shit comes in there. Excuse my language, but some real messed up stuff in there. So
Wow.
so definitely check that out. What's another one? Probably Tower of God. Tower of God wasn't too bad. I'm gonna tell you right now, Tower of God is like doing way better than God of High School. That's a whole nother, you know, basket full of shit that we leave out of there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Is it in anything that you recommend this year?
This year has been kind of lackluster for the amount of animes that I've seen. Now, I'll go right away for those that like martial arts. I'll go ahead and promote Baki, the latest season of Baki. Yeah, when old boy was in China, at this point he was poisoned. Like he was in a very weakened state because he had fought. What's his name? It starts with a Y.
I know the guy you're talking about.
He's the poison user. He's one of the. Oh, it's his name for him. All these Asian names I'm trying to remember. Kaios. He's one of them Kaios, right? So from Japan, but apparently he got poisoned. So he went down there. He eventually got treated by Retsu, who was also in Japan at the time. But he's like one of the top fighters in China. And it was a grand Chinese tournament called the Rai Tai. And Baki, he was able to recover from that. He fought a couple of Kyle guys, looked them up. And there's an interesting character in this season called Muhammad Ali Jr. Those that don't know, Muhammad Ali, the boxer, apparently in this anime, he got a son. And his son goes in. His son is ridiculous. But he does have moments where he has flaws, and it ends up showing later in the anime. And he gets his butt tore up by Baki's friends by the time he goes back to Japan, all while trying to charm a Japanese girl, Baki's girlfriend Koze. He's trying to charm her as a way to kind of get into Baki's head and to kind of psych him out so that he can fight like on the even level with him. But eventually, by the end of the season, they do fight, and man, when Baki was in the zone, when he was in his death zone, Ali stood no chance.
But not a drop of sweat. Like, I mean, it's like you got like an obese fat guy looking at a Big Mac. You know what's about to happen. You know what's about to happen. That Big Mac is gone. Like, and that's what happened. That fight went so quick. It was good, and it was kind of like depressing at the same time because you're like, this build up is about to be nasty.
Yeah,
and it did not go in his favor whatsoever. His father had to step in. That's how bad it got.
yeah.
You know,
Muhammad was just not ready, man. Like he thought he was ready, but he never fought like a fight to the death like that.
yeah.
All the fights have been pro fights and street fights, not death matches. That's the main difference.
Right. It was a whole experience thing. And Baki experienced like some of the craziest things, especially dealing with his father. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. But so, and I think, but if we had to say like a like the best fight from Baki, honestly, is when Baki's father was going against the Grand Kaizen, I believe.
Yeah, that was one. Yeah, that was one of the more fleshed out fights. Yeah, he was like the Grand Kyle, and he has a short name, and dang it, I wish I could remember. But this guy was like 146 years old. He had a style called, I think it's called Shoryu.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Shoryu, where like he could bend his like body in ways where he could not feel pain, and Yujiro would hit him, but he would absorb that attack, and it wouldn't hurt him. It was crazy. Yujiro was supposed to be like the strongest creature on earth. Yeah, this guy, he would do these crazy reflexes in his body, so he would take that physical power and it wouldn't hurt. But what stopped him was he ended up having like I guess his heart failure. He had heart failure and stopped, and his heart stopped.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the match ended. That's how the match ended. That's why Yujiro got so mad, man.
I got mad too because I was waiting for that decisive hit. I was like, "Is he gonna kill him? Is he gonna?" Nah, he took the. Oh man, very crazy. But one anime that I forgot to mention that is like very big for me is the sequel to Inuyasha. Like that, I did a video covering like what we knew so far from the story, and basically it's going to be focusing around the daughters of Shishomaru and Inuyasha. Like Shishomaru is going to have two daughters. They're going to be twins. It's some type of weird forest fire that happened and they get separated. And for some reason, one of the twins goes to the same time frame that Kagome came from, while the other one stayed behind. The twist on this is that both of them lost their memories. So it is definitely going to be a little bit interesting because it makes you think like with this forest fire, what the hell was everybody doing? So, and again,
you mentioned Yasha because that's an anime I remember watching as a kid way back in the early 2000s. Man, freaking Inuyasha, he's getting harassed and made fun of by Kagome all the time. Like, sit, boy, sit.
Man,
Yeah. And also Sango, the ninja chick, along with she got that big boomerang she threw around all the time, and
Ryoko, man.
Moroku with that wind tunnel.
Man, that was that mature Brock right there. He was trying to get up in everybody, like so classic.
Oh, yeah.
And then Kikyo, that's one of my wires right there. Like she's one of them. I think she's like second on the list. I would Kikyo. I would bring her.
How about Kikyo? Damn.
Man, that was like Japanese true beauty right there, captured, and
You're right. Yeah. Now that I think about it, yep, indeed. Now two more animes before going to the gaming topic. I want to briefly touch on No Guns Life. I thoroughly enjoyed that anime. So
I,
for those who don't know, No Guns Life is kind of like a futuristic type anime, sort of.
it
And
deals.
it's a character like he has a gun on his head. He's literally a gun walking man or machine, whatever. Juzo Inu, that's his name.
Right.
So basically, he's like an ex-military soldier, or well, he was actually a slave. He got away from that life, and then he made himself into what's called a revolver. So he's basically solving crimes on behalf of the citizens of the city, mainly extendeds, and those are humanoid beings that are like walking around the city and everything, and they're like the after results of the war. So they're kind of living amongst humans and everything, but now they're kind of like being under surveillance by these big corporations and stuff. Like
Right.
it's pretty deep, guys. This the stuff that you see in there, like it goes in deep, but it does kind of go off a tangent with the comedy a little bit. But the fights are good. I'll say that much. I'm gonna go into more detail when I start doing that review. Hopefully either this weekend or maybe later in the week when I go in more detail about season 2 of No Guns Life. I did an impressions video on it a couple months ago, not a couple months ago, but like back in July about how I felt about season 1. So
Okay.
that's No Guns Life, and the second one is Ahiro no Soro. That's a basketball anime for anybody that's into sports animes. Very, very good show. It's quite lengthy. Right now, it's at 49 episodes, going into 2 seasons. It's about this little kid, little shorty named Sora Kuromatani. And so he's coming from out the countryside, Japan, from Nagano, I believe. He goes into Yokohama, and he plays for a school called Kuzuryu. And apparently, like that school doesn't have a very strong sports culture, especially in basketball, because they don't have a basketball team on the male side. The girls do, not the boys. He goes up in there. He pressures those guys to kind of start playing basketball with him, even though they kind of bully him, pick on him a bunch of times, like early on. But eventually, he gets those guys to start, sharing his vision of basketball and forming a team. And so eventually, they all get together in their own ways, and then they start playing. They form a team. It's a lot of highs and lows. And then there was a point where the team was disbanded by the school because of a very, very bad accident that the players caused after they lost the game. So the show is pretty deep on a very personal level with how those guys develop not only as basketball players but as men in general.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That sounds very interesting, man. Like when it comes to all these animes we mentioned, like I'm pretty sure it'd be something like you like. Even if you're not big on anime, like some of these titles, some of these things, man, I'm telling you, it's legit. And if do you think that's all it? Trust me, we got more to come. Future episodes talking about anime. Oh, it's coming, and you already know which one that we're gonna be talking about sooner or later.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I mean, if we have to break it down again, we can do that. Not to drag things on too long. But
Right.
yeah, let's going into the itinerary again. We got the gaming topics, and so what we got here is the next big game to get. Like, what's that going to be?
Oh, man, honestly, I mean, I hate to be the whole generic behind it, but Cyberpunk is what is probably going to be the next big game to buy.
Yeah, I was looking at the gameplay today. Like, it was a video. It was like over 90 minutes long. Like, I wasn't gonna watch 90 minutes. I mean, that dog. Very detailed, man. Like, okay, I'm not gonna lie. The fight seemed kind of clunky to me because like you're fighting as a first person. Like you're seeing the full vision. You got your hands up and you're fighting these. And while I was watching, it was like two guys, like twin guys, but the dude said he was one person but in two bodies. I'm like, what? How does that work?
It's it's weird because they try to put you in a choice like matter to where you can like start off like at the top or you can start off from like poverty.
Yeah,
It's weird, but the range of like things you can do in a game is what like is clinging me to go and purchase it because you could be able to do all these different things. But hopefully they'll live up to his name because the creators behind this is of course they did Witcher 3 and Witcher 3 amazing. So I have high hopes and hopefully I did not waste $59.99 on this game. Like the only like it's only two games that I ever felt like I wasted money on, and it's because of how like short I ever played them. And first will be Evolve. I bought Evolve day one when it came out, played it for 3 days, and never touched the game.
I think the one game that pissed me off when I bought it was the Genji, not the Days of the Blade, but the sequel game, Dawn of the Samurai. Genji Dawn of the Samurai. Graphic wise, that game was gorgeous. Oh man, that game was so beautiful.
But you wanted to succeed, but
I mean, the environment was awesome, man. You know, but then by the time you got to the final boss, you couldn't beat the damn boss.
oh
I'm
man,
like, man, it was frustrating, man, because I could tell the flaws in this game. It seemed like they rushed it to me. Like, they killed the graphics, but the fighting was just really it was incomplete to me. You know, it felt incomplete.
yeah.
Now, yeah, Cyberpunk is definitely a game we're anticipating. Like, we kind of go in more further detail. Like, there was a scene I saw where they were doing like infrared scanning of the robber. Like, he was robbing some people, and then he shot a lady. And so the girl was explaining to the V, the main character, about what to do in those scenarios. Like, you can rewind what happened. You can see exactly where the bullet hit the woman. It was so detailed, man. You can do infrared scanning, and you can predict what can happen in that scene before it happens. Oh my! You can hack security cameras. Shit's so detailed. Like, damn.
Yeah, they really going into like the whole like those cyberpunk age and everything. That's why I say it really does stand out. I mean, of course, I have like titles that I want to get that I seen. Like it's this one game called Ghost Runner. It looks good, but I think like the next big game for me to get will be Cyberpunk. And I mean, I'm sorry to say, but at first it was going to be a day one buy for the PS5, but the way they selling out, I'm gonna be waiting a month, maybe until 2021, maybe. I don't know.
I already knew I wasn't going to get it on day one. I'm willing to wait it out because PS4 is still going strong as far as I can see. And besides the Cyberpunk game, I was checking out Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and from what I can see, it plays more like the last two games, Origins and Odyssey. What's interesting is you can create your characters, like give them tattoos now. They got tattoo parlors.
Ooh.
Tattoo parlors, and I think they got some drinking games too. They got like a bunch of games where you can like drink food and you can do crazy stuff in there. You know, and they have conquest battles just like with Origins and Odyssey, especially Odyssey, where you go by certain regions and you conquer them. That was the point of the Viking era in England, because that was the time when they invaded and they just took over that part of England for like 100 or 200 years or so. So you're based on that time period. So I may get it. It's a week before Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk comes out November 19th. November 12th is the release of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So I'm trying to figure out, do I want to get both games or do I want to wait? Like, it's tough.
I know what Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I'm gonna wait on it. And it goes into this whole narrative that I feel like Assassin's Creed just not Assassin's Creed no more. Like,
yeah, they said that in the beginning of the stream, funny enough.
like it should have been called like Historic Warriors or something else, because Assassin's Creed does not fit of what Assassin's Creed become. Like Odyssey, I think is what
more role playing now.
Yeah, it really pushed it, but honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'll wait on it because of the fact that that's what I did with the last Assassin's Creed.
So it's like, damn, like, I can't play two open world games at once.
Oh yeah, you got to make that choice.
Yeah.
But so the next big game, that's what we talked about. Now, before we go ahead and get into the main topic of the night, is the Ghost of Tsushima review. I want to take a second to look at the comment section. Retro Gamer Star, thank you for joining in, buddy. Azrael, thank you for joining in too. Give a shout out to VGL. He definitely showed us some love by doing an announcement. Hey, appreciate it, man. It's always a blessing.
Shout out Josh from Sawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, trust me, with this first episode going live, I just want to let y'all know, man, thanks for showing the love, being here. You know, I definitely gonna have to throw, throw some of y'all the moderators on here. So at least on my side, it definitely will be set up correctly. So definitely understand that.
Hmm.
Oh man. Whew, okay. So elephant in the room. JJ. So if you can put it into one sentence, like just you know how Ghost of Tsushima did the whole haiku thing. Like you had to sit there, choose what's the best, like like combination for the words. If you can do that for Ghost of Tsushima right now in 3 words, what would you put that game for you?
A must have. A
uh,
must. What's wrong with you if you're not playing Ghost of Tsushima on the PS4? That's how it
man, Ghost of Tsushima, like. And I actually took my time with this longer than what I expected because usually I want to get a game done like within like a few weeks of time, but I just got it done last week. And what it came out in July. So yeah, I took quite some time with Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, yeah. I bought the game. I pre-ordered it actually. Then I got it like day one, and I was going ham on that thing for like a good month and a half. I was hoping it would be a little longer, but seeing that it's on Tsushima Island, and it's not a very well-known island like globally and stuff like that.
Right.
And, oh, hey, you guys know where Tsushima Island is? And people are like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I was sitting there like, what the hell? But
What's
I
Tsushima Island? That sounds like some make-believe fairy tale land or something. But yeah, it's smack dab in the middle of the Japanese Strait, in between the country of Japan and South Korea. So that's where Tsushima Island is. That is the setting for this game, and it is based on the historical time period of the Mongol invasions of Japan. And I believe with the story here is based in the year 1274. So this is like the very first invasion because the Mongols invaded twice. And
right.
they did 2 times. They did 1274 and they did it again in 1281.
Yeah, I remember you and Azrael was having a conversation in the chat when I was live streaming about that. That was yeah, it had me like really look into that kind of stuff because I was like, man, like so much similarities to the actual like content from it.
Yeah, so I have to commend Sucker Punch, for even though this is a fictitious story, they put as much historical accuracy as they could. Although they did add some things. I know it's like, that weapon called the Hwacha,
Yeah,
the Hwacha. So for those that don't know, the Hwacha is a makeshift rocket launcher, but it's not rockets, it's arrows, it's fire arrows, and that actually was not in the real invasions. They put it in the game to make it cooler, to give it some thrill. But it was actually introduced around the 13th century, and it was really in big use for the Koreans fighting off the Japanese in the Japanese invasions of Korea back in the 1590s. So that's when it was really, really useful for watching. But the Mongols never used the watcher. But what they did have was gunpowder. That was the first historical logging of gunpowder used in Japanese soil. So the Mongols brought that to Japan, and they used that to their advantage to fight off the Japanese, at least on Tsushima Island.
right. And one of the things that I can really like give it to Ghost of Tsushima is like how traditionally they was sticking to like the code of the samurai.
Yeah,
That's something that really amazed me because the things that like Jin Sakai was doing was like it was not honorable at all. Like a samurai were literally like face their battles like head on, and that's what had the Mongols pretty much so bent on knowing a strategy because they wasn't doing no assassination, espionages, or none of that. They were just, hey, look, we're gonna go to war, we're gonna do this straight up. Like Mongols already knew how to take them down and everything.
exactly, because they didn't do this to just the Japanese. I'm glad you touched on that. What the Mongols would do, this is one of their big strategies in their vast conquest of the world at that time. They would send in spies to go and study the culture. They'll go up there and they'll befriend those people. Even they'll be rubbing shoulders with them and everything, and then they'll go right back to Mongolia, go to their generals and tell them everything there was to know about their culture, so they can figure out their weaknesses. And
And you
then
know,
they'll bring in some of their military spies, more military spies, to survey their camps, survey the castles, figure out their weak spots, what their strengths are, and all that stuff. Man, the Mongols back then were well-studied people. It's
right.
incredible.
And Khan actually hinted off at that when he was talking to Laura Shimura when he first had him captured. He was like, "We study your culture. We know like how you guys move. What's the weakness? We did all that." And he was just looking like so surprised, like man. And I was like, "Well, in our day and age and time, that's pretty, like standard, to study the enemy, knowing how they move, what's the best tactics, what's the best way to do it." I mean, it was just like so crazy, like how much of the samurais was a disadvantage to the Mongols, like at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, and they still were to a certain extent. And I'm glad Azrael in the conversation touched on that. Jin basically became the first ninja of Japan. Yeah, he had to do shinobi like things to not only catch the Mongols by surprise, but to give his people the upper hand in these battles, man. Because without that, they were gonna get crushed.
Yeah. I mean, he knowing that he was dishonoring like the code of the samurai that his uncle preached to him, he still went above and beyond to like save his homeland and had no regrets too, because his uncle felt as if he was influenced by Yuna, in which no, like he felt like he knew that taking up going this route I was not going to like be, rewarded or be honored by what something that I've been teaching to me for all these years. He knew like the repercussions and what may have come with him doing the things he's doing. Like the ghost dance, for existence, like he went into a whole brutal gray and white thing, like little scene or whatever, and he just like sliced them and then cut an arm off, or you could slaughter an enemy by cutting their head off. That stuff was beyond samurai. That was, more of a different.
It shocked Lord Shimmer so much. Like he's like, how could you fight like this? You got to fight with honor. And Jen had to tell him straight up, man, these guys don't give a damn about honor. They're trying to conquer our land.
Hey JJ, real quick, hey Retro, just to let you know, we if we do a guest, we'll let the person know if they will be a guest like a week in advance. When it comes to us like actually going live, if we haven't notified you about it, then unfortunately we're not just gonna like have somebody jump in midway. Um, but as of right now, I'm sorry, buddy, can't happen. But go ahead.
Started. So it's like our very first episode. So it's kind of crazy. We let random people on here all of a sudden.
Yeah, but again, definitely thank you for being here and showing support. So, but yeah, oh, sorry about that. Go ahead and continue, JJ.
Okay, where was that? Yeah, so the part where Jim was like, man, they don't care about us fighting with a code. They're trying to take over our land. Don't you understand that? And unfortunately, this is one of the flaws of Lord Shinra. He has tunnel vision. He only understands how to fight one way.
Right.
By the code, for the code. He does everything by the book. There's no kind of innovation at all in his battle tactics. And even the Mongols read that because after the bridge part, he was like, build the bridge back. We're going to attack the castle in the morning. And Jin was like, that's not a good idea.
Right. He said it best, like towards like the end of the game, you're a slave to the code of the samurai. Like he that explains it in the best form of fashion. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't have sacrificed hundreds of soldiers just to honor that code. Like no. And even when you sneaking out of that little place, I might want to try to ruin the game for everybody. When you sneak it out of that little place and you hear the soldiers talking about like Laura Sakai, Laura Shimmer, they even said it like Lord Shimmer is failing. Like, how many more soldiers got to die for his cause? They like Lord Shimmer was not viewed pleased in the people who seeing like the land suffer, and I guess it goes into the whole factor of Jin becoming a ghost, and the ghost is like defying what the shogun has placed in to keep order for the people.
Yeah, the legend of the Ghost of Tsushima grew so large, it actually inspired the people to fight back against these Mongols, pretty much. And it instilled fear into the Mongols, because when they started seeing their top guys dying by Jin, left and right, either by direct combat or by assassination, like with poison and explosions, whatever he was using to kill them off in rapid succession, like,
Right.
they got scared.
Man, I'm telling you, it's so much like good things that Ghost of Tsushima did. But you know what? Let's go ahead and do the breakdown now. Because I mean, we'll be sitting here for hours just talking about how good this game is. and look, this game was like, in my opinion, it was amazing. One of the big things that I like, because like Sucker Punch was, like the developer for it. If you're familiar with Sucker Punch with Infamous games, when they do a side story, that side story can definitely be incorporated into like the main story. So you don't feel like you're just doing a random side story. That stuff really does add, more to the story than you think. Like all these side quests, the mythical tales and all that stuff actually, fits the story so well. So it's not like you going like half across the map to deliver like a bunch of apples or something like that. Nah, you going into some really interesting tales and get rewarded pretty good if you do it.
Yeah, man. Like, the side quest was definitely awesome. Like, and the duels were pretty damn good. You have to agree, right?
The duel was amazing, but someone on the duels, like, I ain't gonna lie to you, fuck my life up. I'm sitting there like, yo, these motherfuckers coming out here like, I didn't have my breakfast, my orange juice. I'm getting in your ass. I'm like, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. And my Kevin Hart voice, I was not ready.
Who gave you the most struggle?
Man, but
And who gave you the most struggle?
yeah, who gave me the most struggle?
Which character gave you the hardest time in the duel?
Oh man, I will honestly have to say it was probably one of my first ones, but I think it was when I got the archer armor and I was facing an old girl. She probably gave me like the most trouble.
Oh, that's surprising. She didn't kill me actually the first time. The person that killed me a bunch of times was Ryuzo. Not a bunch of times, like he killed me once, and then I fought him back, and then I got him. And the other guy that gave me trouble was Kojiro, the head of those. I don't even know if they were straw hats, but he was like the head of that gang. That I think he was associated with Ryuzo as well. But when he fought him in the caves at the temple, he was giving me that business.
Right. Very like like I said, the duels really did add like the type of element to the game to where it felt like you literally have to do this. Like if you can't do this, you don't need to go for it. And I'm glad that it kind of gave me that that emotion of structure to really try to go into this fight and win. Like I got competitive with it. Like, when I at times where I lost, I got mad as hell. Like I was like, fuck, man, he whooped my ass. I need to get.
Oh wow.
But man, the duels was really amazing. I think one of the best feats to the combat is the standoffs. Man, those standoffs is amazing. Like he calls them.
He progressed in the game.
He was like, "Come out, you coward!" So I'm like, "Oh shit!"
Okay, yeah. Tatsukoi.
And then you get the Sakai armor and get them additional kills. Ooh, you could rack up your whole resolve so fast. It's crazy.
Yeah, man, it would charge up from it would. You would have like maybe one circle left, one circle resolve left, and then it goes up to like 5, and then you kill the other 3. Like, yeah, now what?
Yeah, look, when you playing with the Kensei armor, if you kill like just the first person, you would get like almost 6.
6, damn.
Like that's why. Yeah, that's what I like about the Kensei army. You get your resolve fast. That's one thing I can say about it. You get that resolve fast as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite outfit was by the time I got to the Black Dot Merchant, I put my Travelers outfit in all black. Hey man, you could have called me the Ninja Shadow at that point.
I'm a man of the Kensei armor. Like that Kensei armor is amazing. Like I like it. It's that or the ghost armor. Because the ghost you get that ghost dance
Oh,
there.
those song was sick. Yeah, the Travelers attire was good too because they help you search for items. You could get the records and all that stuff. Like
Oh
most
yeah.
records that way. That's
Oh
why I
yeah.
really
Yeah, the perfect item finder. Like it's one of the best in the game to me. I think that Kensei, Ghost, and probably the Mongols armor is probably like top tier.
yeah, the Mongol armor is by far the strongest for obvious
Yeah.
reasons.
That defense and the increase to the health is crazy.
Yeah, it's like damn man, like you're stronger than Khotun Khan at this rate.
Pretty much. And okay, so we know that the mechanics and combat was a treat. You know, it was definitely wonderful. How do you feel about the graphics?
Graphics are really good to me, man. Like I love how it would like the daytime shifting from day to night and
Hmm.
how that kind of how they changed the colors of the landscapes. And I like how they incorporated the seasons too.
Oh
Because
yeah,
in the game it was like springtime, sort of, and then it went to summer. And then as you traveled north of the island, you saw the more fall colors, and then eventually went to winter when you got to the very top of the island. It
yeah,
was very, very intriguing to see. So it obviously says that time has passed, since Jen started this journey as the ghost. Even though I think the whole entire island was one season, but
right,
obviously, you know, as as you progress throughout the game, the seasons change, and you see the contrast of the various parts of the island. And you
right.
saw rich areas, and then you saw the poor areas. Gumi Cove, dude, that's like the bastard side of the island.
Yeah, where everybody go who doesn't have a home.
That's like the bastard side of the island, and then like the rich island, the rich part of the island is obviously around Lord Shimura area and where Jin grew up. It's like where the more richer towns are. But
Right,
yeah, it's a lot of contrast in that game. You see you see different sectors of industry out there too. You see the farmlands, agriculture. You see the blacksmith factories. You also see the castle towns, the shrines, and as well as the forts, the Mongol camps.
right,
You can see all that stuff. So they did a really good job giving you a realistic vision of what it would have been like during a invasion of an outside force, pretty much.
right. I think what really got it too with the graphics, and I mean, and what they really did with it is like, for instance, like the last like part of the island that you go to has like the whole snowy area. You could see like the footprints. Being that you go doing one side quest where you actually go up in the mountain and he gets so cold it start taking your health away. Like them adding like certain elements that
Right.
it's this really did capture me and knowing that how much of a detail they went into there because of course in that time they ain't got no coast. They ain't really got much to really like have them surviving like a deep weather like that. So that was interesting. Then being in a whole like muddy area, you see the mud pick up on the clothes. They not only with the like being the graphics that they have, it really showed the how well the environment was important in this game, and I think that really does stand out.
Yeah, true that. You also it did a good job allowing you to blend in the environment in order to kill those Mongols, man. They're just scouting the area, they're looking for you. Once they find out you're the ghost, they're figuring you like he's here somewhere, like he's hiding somewhere. We got to find him and stuff like that. And that's when they introduced the dogs and later the falcons. And those falcons were annoying because they start skying over you. They're like, and you got to shoot.
I wish you would have been able like to shoot them out the sky because I tried to, and then like an arrow just went right through them. I'm like, you can't do it. Like I don't care about being an animal killer in the game. Like let me shoot that falcon out the sky.
Yeah. Oh, how about the part where you get to hallucinations and poisons?
Oh man, you and Azrael called that money. As soon as I got that, oh my god, I just like loved it. Like, look, what's so crazy is that I just did a mission to where I had like two hallucination darts, right? So I shot two enemies that was standing right next to each other, and they just went ape shit and killed like four people. And I'm like, yo, that's my shit now. Like, man, and when you think about like the story with it too, when you're talking about these darts, man, like it was like it was like a double edged sword for Jin because he did the poison, but then the Mongols were smart enough to know where he got it and started copying that poison. Like that, it amazed the fuck out of me. Like, yo,
That's the gift of the Mongols, and the ability to read the opponents and take their strengths and turn it into their weaknesses, like with the poison and everything. Because even Jin Sakai got hit by the poison. And I saw that part, like, oh no, don't tell me he's about to die. But then Yuna, the MVP, the unsung MVP of this game. How many times does she save Jin?
man, I have a love and a hate for Yuno. Like it
I didn't hate Yuna. I thought, man, she's MVP. Other than
MVP, but like when you get to that part and she tells him like, you're the ghost, you belong to the people. I'm like, damn, my man's can't get love. He belongs to the streets. Oh, wow.
I wasn't tripping on that part. He kind of did though.
But man, it's like you pretty much like telling the like telling the whore that, hey, look, you don't belong to nobody, you belong to the streets. Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, damn.
And then I had to wipe him up and like start a family already, even though they still got Mongols running around terrorizing people. Like,
look, I at least want him to beat some cheeks. Like, he like my man needs to beat some cheeks or something. Like my man
probably did off screen. They probably did off screen, but it is what it is.
like if he did a movie for it,
right.
if they did a movie for it and he actually beat it up off screen, I'll be sold. I'll be like, you know what? That changed my whole idea about But until that happened, I have this love and this hatred for her.
She didn't get really cool until she started championing that ghost monkey that Jen acquired over time. Because initially, guys, she was trying to get the hell up out of there. She was trying to get out Tsushima. She knew the shit was getting crazy. It was getting out of hand. She was trying to get up out of there with Taka. God, that RP to Taka, man. He manned up so fast and fought long in until the bitter end, man. Shout out to Taka.
Oh my god, that scene hit me like a ton of bricks, but I loved it. Like he defended his friend to death, but Khan did him dirty. He cut partial of his head. He didn't cut his head off. He cut partial and rip. You hear the meat, the bone, and everything.
Snap! Like damn.
Tore it off, held his head up, and then tossed it aside like it was trash. Yeah. He was like, Taka, you trash at this point. I'm like, ooh.
Savage, man. God damn, Kotu Khan was a beast in this game, bro. You fought him in the very beginning of the game. It's like, how do you beat this dude? Like, what?
Man, that is crazy. That is crazy, man. Crazy. So we talked about the combat, the graphics, and we talked about the story too. Or do you want to touch on that a little bit more?
Oh, the story?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, like the story, it has a very good historical imprint. Like I mentioned earlier, now there are some things that they added on there that weren't quite really there. Like I said, with the Watcha, as well as I guess the poison too, because I'm not sure if Mongols use poisons like in Japan in particular. Maybe they did in other parts of the world, but as far as Japan, I know they mainly brought gunpowder to Japan, using it against the Japanese, and they use fire arrows a lot. And yeah, that was one of their favorite weapons, fire arrows. But for the most part in the story, guys, like Jin, he fights alongside Lord Shimura on that beach, and they get slaughtered, man. And they had a very small army. Like they're going against warships and these hordes of Mongols like getting on the shoreline. They stood no chance. They stood no chance.
No, no chance whatsoever. It like they was doing the fail, like and surprisingly, like Jen survived by the grace of God both times. Like if that was any normal man,
He would have died.
he would have died. But he like Yuna saved him, brought him back from death.
She's an MVP, man. She's like the ultimate healer, despite being a thief. But yeah, it's not just Yuna that helps him out a lot of these side missions. I thank you, Azrael, for touching on some of these other characters. Sensei Ishikawa, he encountered the master archer, so he helps him along. He actually teaches Jin a couple of things about archery and things like that, and he kind of got into it with Jin a couple of times, man. Because you're talking about a guy with some pride right here, man.
Oh
He
yeah,
is ashamed of what he did to a student, Tomo.
yeah. He kind of like you said, got into it with Jen, and he has a lot of smart remarks too. Like when Jen was like, he pretty much kind of like taunted him when they first encountered like Tomoe face to face, and he was like, you missed your chance to whatever, and then like later on down the line, he comes back to that same conversation and was like, and Jen, remember one thing, I will never second guess myself. Don't you ever say that. I'm like, that was like last mission.
Yeah, like they had the chances there, and then when they squandered that opportunity and stuff, both of them squandered opportunity to catch Tomo. Really, if you think about it, and
Man,
that's why it's easy to call it. He had to check him like, don't you question my integrity as a samurai? What the fuck
yeah.
wrong?
You would know would have been so crazy if like Tomoe would have actually like joined the art, like joined his cause or whatever. Because if you think about it, before he knew that was Tomoe up in the mountains, he
Yeah,
was he was flirting with Tomoe. Was like, look, if I get too cold, I'm gonna have to ride on the horse with you. I was like, oh shit,
yeah.
like Laura Sakai trying to get him some Sakai later. Yeah, boy.
She was looking rather cute, even cuter than Yuna. Would have thought.
He could have. Hey, look, if he would have kept this line, like you could have had both of them. Like, why settle for one?
That old girl tried to make him stay in the cottage. Like, after he found out it was her, like, hell no, I'm getting the fuck out.
I would have been master. Look, you would have to forgive her. He's gonna be like, Lord Sakai, you crazy? He's gonna be like, look at the cheeks, Sensei.
Sensei, oh, you didn't tap that? You didn't get that?
You've been around us this long and you never introduced me? How dare you? As your Lord, I am disappointed.
Right. That's why we couldn't kill her, god damn it. She was too pretty.
Shit, her sexy ass moving through the crowd when nobody's paying attention. Shit. I see you. I'm gonna go on a ghost dance, but I still got my eye on you.
Yeah. But she threw her former life away. She got up out of Tsushima Island. Funny how she leaves, but not Yuna.
Right.
Well,
Well, at this point, like I think Yuna's story is like so sad because she did everything she had to do for her brother. Like she was overly protective, but she will go to the mountaintop for him. And when she lost him, I felt like that's why I felt like her and Jen could have probably pursued something because like she even said it out of her mouth, Jen, I can't lose you too. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, I'm getting somewhere. I'm like, it's going to happen. I had it in my head. I had it in my head. I was like, he's getting buns. Like that's all I was thinking about was like, my man's Jen, buns, unibuns. Yes, Jen and unibuns. Like I was going through.
buns.
But it didn't happen. I was like, oh man, that's the only thing that upsets me is this.
Behind the scenes, guys, behind the scenes.
But if he did smack the cheeks behind the scenes and then let that come to light, or look, if they even added in the next game, I would go back and be like, you know what? My man's Jen, got it. I'm gonna do a whole celebration video. Like it's
touch on a potential sequel aspect. Let's talk a little bit about Lady Masako.
what's up?
Tripping.
Yo, I still feel bad for her. Like though that is one of the like the saddest stories that I ever seen in a game. Like she wasn't. It's not even like ladies. Masako is like young. She's old. Technically, she should be retired.
Yeah, yeah,
But like her, her
right.
husband, her sons, her daughters, her grandkids, all murdered. She's the last of a
But,
dying breed.
yeah, last of the clan.
That is, and that's so much pressure and so much sadness around for her. You just can't help but to love like the drive she has to get revenge, and then find out. Not gonna say who it is, but kind of
Yeah,
find out who it is. Oh man, that shit was even crazy. It blew my fucking mind.
yeah. We can't spoil exactly who conspired to kill off the rest of her family because her husband and her sons died by the Mongol hands when they assisted Lord Shimura at Kodama Beach. But the rest of the family, you gotta keep it quiet. Gotta keep lips sealed. You know. And there's one more character, Norio, the monk. The monk. Yeah, this guy, he kind of had a rough upbringing himself. He had an older brother, and man, did you see the part? I know you saw it at the very end of his missions where you saw him like still alive. Like, whoa,
Yo,
terrible.
he, hey, look, excuse me for what I'm about to say, but at that point he was a paraplegic. I'm sorry. It,
Yeah,
they
I assumed he was dead all that time until we actually saw the guy. I'm like, holy crap! Look what they did to him.
like I'm sitting there like the Mongols really like they was brutal. That's one of the things in like when you look up about them, they were strategic, but they was also brutal. And that is a prime example of what they would do to seize control. Like my
He was
man,
a weapon.
they don't care who you was, kids, women. If they felt it was necessary, they would go by any means. And that right there shows you this guy was a monk, a warrior monk that's supposed to bring happiness. They didn't care.
Happiness and peace, And that's what Norio was trying so hard to protect. Like he was about that life basically. He was about Buddha. He was about sacrifice in a sense. He would do anything for his temple. But unfortunately, monks are getting slaughtered left and right by Mongols, and he at that point he kind of felt hopeless. That is until Jin showed up, and then that's they started resolving things. Although they did have a little bit of a conflict because Norio cared more about the Buddha statue than his own fellow men. It's like Jin was like, "Yo, are you gonna save your homies or are you gonna save that statue? Take your pick. You gonna stay here? You gonna help me out? Come on."
Right. And I mean, like, I think when him and Sakai got like a good understanding, I think that's when like things kind of like went downhill after that because Nero at the end he had a whole change about himself, like a whole change.
Exactly. And
It
then
was
yeah, one more character, Kenji, the drunk dude, the
Ken,
OG of this game.
Kenji was my guy, bro. He always said the
Yeah.
Lord, like I try to do this. It was like, no.
Like, they had to set him up straight, man. Like, and he was very instrumental in the beginning of the game because he got Jin and Yuna inside that one city of Amazo, like that village, to start killing off all the Mongols in there to liberate that village. And yeah, he did a good job there. And there was another mission where he helped them escape out of Lord Shimura's castle. And he got those guys drunk for a little while anyway, so he could get the hell up out of there. So Kenji, he has his usefulness, even though if he is a bit of a slacker due to his alcoholism.
Right.
Yeah,
Man, that I enjoyed his missions and whew, man, Kenji, he was fun. He added something that I guess that kind of like lift you up from like the real like dark theme that Ghost of Tsushima had at most times. So it was really kind of like really uplifting to knowing that they had a character that kind of like eased the tensions a little bit, and it fit. It fit because they didn't let you rush through like so many of their tales, so you had to do a certain amount. And when they threw his into the mix of it, it really kind of like gave you that breather a little bit.
Yeah. Astro said Kenji's the big smoke. I don't think so, man. Kenji is the OG low. Big smoke in this game was Ryuzo, even though he didn't look nothing like Big Smoke.
Oh man, Ryuzo. Oh my god.
Can you believe this guy?
Ryuzo, he was like, it made me felt like doing his like tails. If it wasn't for any type of like progression, I probably, or if I needed to do it, I probably would have did none of them, because it just to have like that happen to you was like kind of depressing. I'm like,
damn, yeah, man. I can't like, dog, you really doing this, man? Especially when you first like fight him, like, you really going through this mess, man? For real? Like, all right now? You want to kill me over that Kongu? Like, seriously?
like you got your knee pads on now, huh? That's what he got you on your knee pads. Oh man. Oh man. So the side stories and how everything like links up to the main story is definitely a big a big thing that's going on right now. And it really, that's one of the specialties that I like about Sucker Punch, and reason why they're one of my favorite studios is because of what they add with their side stories. If you ever play one of the major side stories in any Infamous game, it adds that element that you just don't feel like it's a normal side quest. You feel like it's part of the main story, or at least you want to find out about it because of the main story, what the links it has up to it, especially if you play Infamous Second Son. So with Ghost of Tsushima having that effect, and Doom doing it, like adding like historical events for examples in Ghost of Tsushima, it really makes it stand out. You know, it really does.
Oh, yes, indeed. And I guess let's go into a potential sequel if you think Sucker Punch is willing to pursue that. Like, I guess we could talk about the angles that they could play here after this game is over, since now Jin is pretty much a vigilante. He's no longer samurai because of what he did. He had to kill off his uncle. Well, actually, he didn't have to kill him, but
He
you
did.
know. You did. I did.
Man, like I took this chance, man. Like, look, you didn't listen now once, Uncle. Oh, I am going to put that sword through your heart and love it every second.
Ah.
But potential sequel. This is something that one of my close buddies that I've been gaming with for a while too actually brought up, because if you think about it, Jin is considered to be a ninja, right? Now,
Ninja like, yes.
yeah. Now he may just be the first ninja, but will he become a shinobi? That's the thing. Like, and yeah, because the shinobi and a ninja does have a difference. You know, a shinobi is pretty much just like an official thing that is set up. You know, through like the higher ups of like the shogun or whatever, going to go pull up assassination. A ninja, anybody could be a ninja. You could be rogue ninja, you could be some other type of entity of a ninja, but it's no shinobi. So I'm thinking like this. I'm thinking that for the sequel, Jin is going to go more into of the shoguns stepping in because of how many people it's pretty much is moving away from the shogun. They're going to pretty much have them come in, trying to figure out, trying to meet the ghost, trying to capture the ghost, and eventually
grow basically.
Yeah, and I think for the greater good, he's probably going to let Jin be his shinobi. Start sending him on assassinations, and let him move about doing that just in the shadows. He would never be known in the light. That's how I think that will come around. Like him and Yuna is still like tackling things out, but eventually they go off to pretty much establish the shinobi later on.
So basically, based on that description, it sounds like Jin will have to leave Tsushima Island and start fighting in the mainland part, because the Mongols will come back a second time, and that would make for a perfect scenario what you just described of him eventually encountering the Shogun, and the Shogun can make that decision as to whether or not he wants to turn Jin into his silent killer. so to speak, against these Mongols, or even some Japanese men that are trying to take him out of the picture, so to speak. So that's one angle Sucker Punch can do by continuing to tell the ghost. Or if they want to take on other angles of the Mongol Empire and their world quest for domination, they could go that route too. I could see them doing that. Coach
Right.
was a very compelling villain in this game. He was very diabolical, willing to do anything to succeed. I could see him going that route too. So they may not even necessarily have to stay in Japan. They could go to China. They could go to. They did an invasion in Vietnam. They did invasions in India, as well as Central Asia and even Europe. So and also Egypt. They went as far south as Israel and Egypt. The Mongols did at one point. So I'm saying they got a lot to play with here, Sucker Punch. So they could continue the Ghost legend, or they can go, look into other aspects of the Mongol Empire. So I swear, they got a bunch of angles to go, man. I think.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of things they can go on also. And I definitely can't I definitely feel like man, we probably not gonna see another Ghost of Tsushima for some years now.
Yeah, because
But
they know they got a success story with this first game here, and they got to really hunker down and figure out how they want to take Jin Sakai, or they can look into other cons of the Mongol Empire and just blow it up from there. We'll have other legends to deal with.
right. No, you're correct though. You're correct. That's amazing.
What they just started here. It's the new Assassin's Creed, basically.
Right. Yeah. She's trying to travel to the mainland. You got that Azrael. Like I really it doesn't matter which like route they take. I'ma love it either way it goes because the story of Ghost of Tsushima was definitely ones to really say that they did a thing really, really good, and I'm happy for it. I'm happy for the success of it. I wanted it to be a success very badly, so I'm glad that it got the success that it needs because you have other people, and I'm not going to say no names because we all know who these people is, and they're not going to get my time of day for it, but whatever. But
we'll keep this podcast drama free.
But for others to downgrade Ghost of Tsushima without even playing it, it goes into this narrative, and I'm always going to preach about this. Play the game before you make your judgment. Like your judgment on a game and you haven't played it, that's basically you're saying pizza is nasty, but I never had a slice of pizza. Like that don't make no sense. Like it's never that narrative unless you actually try it. Now I'm not telling you to put that into life events because there's a lot of things that I will not try because of the fact that I know the kind of person that I am. But when it comes to a video game, man, like you have either you have to word it right or you have to really consider your actions, like for real. Because to say that the game is trash and you haven't even played it is crazy. Like any game that I'm going to say that I don't like and I haven't played, I'm like, it's not my type of game. That's the best comment I can give if I don't want to play a game that I'm not interested in. It's not my type of game. Now later on down the line, if I try it, that's different.
Yeah, that'd be my angle. Like, yeah, that's cool and all, man, but doesn't seem it's not my cup of tea, not my cup of coffee. I'll stick with the games that I want to play pretty much. I don't need to diss a game that I never even tried to experience.
Sure. So like that whole narrative right there, I ain't never like I'm not gonna call a game trash unless I try it. It's not my cup of tea. But at the same time, I'm not gonna be blind to a particular game because of what platform is on. Again, that's not what we about. We're not about that. It's all about if the game is good, it's good. If it's not, if Ghost of Tsushima was trash, I would tell you like it was trash.
Yeah, we will both tell you.
Look, I wasted my hard-earned money, like money that I have to do whatever to get, like like how much toes I had to rub to get my wife to purchase.
Yeah, we buy our own games. We don't ask our counterpart ladies to buy our games for us.
Right. Right. I mean, I'm a grown man. If my wife chooses to buy it, that's fine. But she'll tell you, I buy majority of my games. And if you want to look at my library or anything like that, go right ahead. I don't care. Any of my links in my like streams and videos, you will see all of my like player IDs across all the platforms. You can take a look at it and see how many games I got. but but overall, let's talk about the ratings. So scale of 1 to 10, JJ. Like based on how well received the graphics is, how well received the combat is, how interesting and impactful the story is. What would be a proper rating for it in your judgment?
I would give it, I'll say a 9.6 out of 10.
9.6 out
Close,
of.
very close to the 10. Real close.
I think I would have to go with the same score that Azrael had because he said 9 out of 10. I give it a 9 out of 10.
Nine
Um,
out of
Yeah, then I give it the 9. And the only reason that I give it the 9, it goes into the one thing that you can that you can call it like a love and hate thing with it
10.
is voice acting. Now I went with the English voice acting just because when I'm playing a game, I really don't like to read too many subtitles. But the Japanese voice acting for what I have seen from your gameplay, the Japanese voice acting is way more better than the English.
That's probably why I rated my score higher than yours.
Right. I mean, I looked at it on a I did a comparison though, like because like on one of my screens when I be playing the game, I switch my desktop to project the PS4. So I had one speaker having the English voice acting, and then I had this on the other end, which your video was going, and I had the Japanese voice, and I was doing a comparison, and I was like, "Dang, that Japanese voice is better."
Exactly, man. They're more dramatic about it, though.
Yeah,
More intense. Much more intense. Like, not to say the English acting was terrible. Like, it was actually one of the better, like, real game voice acting, but it's still not as enjoyable to me compared to the Japanese. And plus, we're fighting in Japan. It was only right to do it in Japanese. You
right.
know, just my angle, my thought process of all that. Like, I'm in Japan. I need to be here in Japanese. I mean, cool. We put in English in there, but we in Japan, man. We doing this the Japanese way.
And I mean, because when I took a look at it, this is where I get off at it. It's like when the mouth movement doesn't exactly represent the English like part, but it supports the Japanese part more. So that does hit it for me. And I mean, I don't, and that's why again, it's not a big like minus off of it, but I mean, it's still something that has to be addressed about it. Unfortunately, like I look at everything, with it, like like if if they have like a bad structure to the system and stuff like that, oh yeah, I will be up in there. But unfortunately, everything else about the game is amazing. So 9 out of 10, I think that's a I think your score is not bad either. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
like I think this is probably like the best range for it. I mean, I would even understand if somebody gave it an 8.5, but anything lower than that, like
Right.
I'm gonna honestly say it. I mean, either you really didn't play the game like that, or you
Yeah,
must.
we're just not into like samurai games, probably. That's probably my guess. They probably just got bored with the dialogue over time, you know, because it's at certain points of the game it is dialogue heavy. But if you can overlook that and just start fighting, man, it makes up for it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even with that though, with the violence and everything that's in there, man, like I don't know, you must be some type of different breed if you.
Or I just thought about this too. They're not into open world games. But some people, I did hear one guy say, "Oh, it's an open world game." Nah, I'll pass because they don't want to do all the hard labor of traveling and seeing new stuff.
Well, the whole narrative in the generation is open world, and a lot of people felt like open world games take away from a lot of things that's actually like should be going on in the game, and it, the gaming community and the tastes that people gives off to these developers can definitely ruin an experience for you, especially if they're trying to cater to the mass media. My thing is, if you have a vision for the game, stick to that vision. Don't
Right.
go for what the person said. The person said the sky should be red. Trust me, that person is either like is drinking on something, sipping some lean, or he may not got out as much as he was a kid. Stick to whatever you know fits your player.
Yeah, I have to take the open world comments with a grain of salt. Now, if this was an open world game where you could actually see nudity and stuff like that, I bet these dudes would change their mind so fast.
Oh man, if they had Japanese horror houses and on this, they'd be like, "Oh man, this is the greatest game,
Oh,
man."
yeah.
I took the kid to the bathhouse. He had a little extra surprise for him. He like, nah, bro, we ain't doing that today. I want to. This game has enough entertainment for me. I don't need a horror
I
house in here.
was like, I thought you didn't like open world games. What? The girls, it's so pretty, man. I had to buy it. But see, I thought creep.
All these creeps playing games.
Yeah.
But it's crazy though. It's real crazy. But like I think the score for it is a decent score. I think for the majority of the people who reviewed it and who actually showed their gameplay for it really did understand the game. And I mean, with them coming out with the multiplayer, all they doing is just feeling the players to come back and play again. Like, and it's crazy. It's crazy because like Ghost of Tsushima had a lot to live up to, because with us getting Neo 2, they was like, I don't know. Neo 2 was pretty freaking amazing. So
It's dope, in my opinion.
yeah.
For the first game, I would say it's a little nerfed. The boss fights are a tad easier, especially with the co-op options. But outside of that, man, it was a fun game. Woo!
It's actually one of those like stories that you actually really, really like. So I mess with it. I mean, and that's again soul based games like that. I mean, it's still a challenge for me because like I'm not really into like many souls based games. But if you got a good story, I mean, I put up and shut up and try to get down with it. So like it just me.
Ain't
Like,
no more DLCs for Neo 2, and there shouldn't be more on the way. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll get that second part.
I'm pretty sure they will. It had great success. I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Asma, remember Hypersonic? He tripped out when I was fighting that boss, man. Yoshitsune, that dude was crazy.
Man.
I was, wow, bro. Watch out. I'm gonna tell you, watch out.
Man, I think like man, what was but in this Ghost of Tsushima, I think like my most funniest moment is when I was in stream and I think I got hit by something and I got knocked off the cliff.
You fell in the water. Yeah, we remember that. Got you, and you fell in the water like 3 times. I'm like, get back in the land, get back on beach.
I was like, no, I'm dishonoring my uncle when I do this.
What is Ezra doing?
Man.
I got shot by them stupid cans too.
Man, I don't know, man. Maybe I was drinking too much with Kanji or whatever.
Oh wow.
Man, so nice Ghost of Tsushima. Man, Ghost of Tsushima did his thing, man. Ghost of Tsushima did his thing. Bring out Piccolo, told him to die.
Oh god.
Oh my god, that was
Jin
terrible.
have to shine. You gotta respect the shine, Jin.
I failed you, Laura Sakai.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh man, so I think that's like the end of like the major stuff for the schedule. But real quick though, it was crazy. I think brought in the chat brought this up. So Retro said he was gonna go live, but he ended up going live at the same time that we was doing the live stream. So kind of crazy.
That was something else.
Yeah.
I guess that concludes our live stream. We kind of made our mark here, our time mark. Anybody have questions?
Questions, and it's a QA time. Like what you
QA time.
Yes.
Check that down to one person. I mean, that's cool and everything. It's just the first episode.
Oh yeah. Oh man, look, we peaked up to about like 10 people.
Yeah.
So game of the year, yes, I think it should be at least a nominated for game of the year. If it wins game of the year, I would definitely be happy for it. Definitely will be happy for that. Because Ghost of Tsushima really did add a whole different aspect to the whole like open world samurai feel to it. So being a game of the year contestant is definitely something to be considered by anybody who have played this game, even to the developers. So
Yeah. I agree as well. I think it should definitely be game contestant of the year, if not winning outright. Just for the overall detail that Sucker Punch did and the great storytelling that this game possessed. You know, if Last of Us 2 ends up winning, I mean, it is what it is, just based off popularity and based on the times that we're living in, that kind of thing. I might have a little frown on my face if that happens, but I ain't gonna
oh,
say sorry game. It was a good game, but
it was a good game, but I don't think that Last of Us Two should be like game of the year. If it was a nomination, I would understand about popularity, but if it wins like beating out some of those games that actually really did it, like again, Neo 2, you had the Final Fantasy 7 remake.
mhm.
You got other games that came out to really consider that to be game of the year. I mean, I will basically it would be like a podcast would definitely be there to talk about that. I'll be like, you know what? Oh man. Um
That'll be later down the road, hopefully, when they do the VGAs. Hopefully.
hopefully, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I still gotta go back and clear a couple of trophies out on Final Fantasy 7 remake. I just gotta do hard mode and a couple of extra bosses and I got the platinum. So I'll knock that out sooner or later.
Mm.
Currently into Marvel's Avengers. For the most part, it's pretty cool. I just gotta get more into it. Probably gonna stream a little bit of that this weekend. And yeah, Azra, you and a few other my buddies got the platinum. I think like you probably like the fifth person I know that got the platinum, but for Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm.
One of my boys, he did it within like a couple of days. My boy Frog, he's a madman. He got the God of War platinum within 2 days. And he did it on hard mode. That's the crazy thing. He did it on hard mode. I told him like,
Always got skills.
yeah, but he had not beaten me in Mortal Kombat, so he could go kiss grits. So,
Well, he
uh,
found his niche, man. He found the game he's mastered damn near.
nah, I look. I'm gonna put it to you like this. I didn't gave them like a whole like week to practice, and I didn't even touch the game. They can't touch
He
me.
still lost. Dang.
Yeah, like one thing about it, Mortal Kombat is like one of my bread and butters. Like I will.
That's enough for you then.
Like when I get like the actual character that I want to play with, like I think like my top two is probably like Scorpion and Kano. I will go ape shit.
Mm.
Yeah. I think one of my buddies he did Ghost of Tsushima in 1 week. No, three of them did it in 1 week. One of my buddies he took him a couple of weeks. I'm probably taking like the longest out of everybody. Usually it doesn't take me that long, but I really did like took the story and really let it like hit me like that because that one night that I was streaming and you did it was that one mythic tale about his housekeeper or whatever. She when she passed away, that was emotional. I had to get off because I was sad. Like she's
That was
yeah,
really
like
wow.
I went to go lay down and was like, oh my god, like that lady like loved Laura Sakai to the fullest.
Yeah. She really, really cared about it dead. Cop monsters and things.
Yeah, it was really crazy. Oh man. But but yeah, so all right. So I want to give it let me do my shout outs real quick. I want to give a shout out to G Bane, Azrael, Joshua, I believe that's his name. video game lover. Still gonna give a shout out to Retro, even though you started streaming when we did. I'm gonna definitely come over there and let you know a piece of my mind. Um, yeah. So, everybody who was in the chat, definitely thank you for joining in the first episode of the internal vintage podcast. Episode 2 is going to be on my boy JJ Wilson's channel. He's going to get his cast shot ready. Going to give you the special bullet. Man, he got the
lock and load.
So yeah, we're gonna by Tuesday. We should let everybody know what day we're gonna do it on, because again, with work schedules, availability, it could be anywhere between Friday and Sunday. More so in the evening time. It just be way better that way.
Right.
And again, if we have guest appearances, we would definitely let them know, depending on what we're doing. We'll definitely contact them like a week in advance, because I believe that if we do a guest appearance, it would be more so like having that person prep, kind of like, like learning like the layout of the podcast for that week. So they know how we going and how we moving. I don't want them to just do stuff on a whim, because I don't think that would be fair to me, JJ, or you guys, or the person who started in there. I think it should be more organizing. And yes, Azra, I was not dodging. I'm hard headed when it comes to these Souls games with dodging. Sometimes I just be wanting to press that button to kill somebody. But yeah, that's honestly like what we're doing. And again, drama free environment, making sure that we want to keep it strictly for what we're here for, gaming and anime. We may go off topic sometimes, may just talk about some other things, but if you do want to come in here, again, I'm not saying that you can't love the platform that you own. Hint, this is take it how you want to, but let's be respectful. Especially be respectful of the two hosts, the comment section, and everybody around you.
Well stated. Well stated.
Man, I had to, man. I just got to let them know, because like sometimes people like to come in here, sprout their wings and think they could do whatever they want, in which that little someone, I'm gonna go to his live stream and ask him why he started streaming at the same time we did, because like I mean, like I understand that he want to play the game and he probably like it's urgent to do so, but we definitely have let him know what day we was doing it, what time. And I'm not saying that you can't do other things at the time, but come on, man. Like, when you go live, I don't go live. I show you love. I come in there, like your videos, share, do all that good jazz. So it's kind of bull crap, man.
In other words, don't be a douche.
Well, he probably gonna have to get a douche to get all that shit out of his ass, because I'm coming over there. But again, thanks everybody for definitely joining in. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate you stopping by, showing the love that y'all guys been doing. And again, there's more episodes to come. Again, JJ, hey brother, it's a pleasure. Oh man. So I'm gonna definitely be hitting you up and see what we're gonna talk about next week. Maybe it'd be more anime focused. We don't know.
Right. We're just getting started, guys. We're barely creating a structure here, and so yeah, this is just gonna be a weekly thing with us. We're gonna try to keep it anime and gaming for the most part. Try to stay drama free as much as possible, and hopefully have fun with this, man. Hopefully we can build off this, and once our podcast gets going, like, man, we can really do some things here. Make some graphics. Maybe add a little intro music. Possibly we'll figure that out with StreamYard, because we're just getting started here.
No problem. And Sigma Jones, hey man, thank you for that, man. We appreciate it very much.
Yes, sir. Sigma, man, I invited him up here, man. Him and two other individuals. Well, two of them show up tonight. One of them, Mr. Arper Naka. If you hear this near the end of this, thank you very much, sir. Yeah, I sent him an email as well to come here. I'm sure he's occupied.
No problem, man. Again, that's love, man. Definitely appreciate it, man. And like the Avatar too, you got the beast reading the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey man, X-Men fan over here too, bro. Like Wolverine is my favorite Marvel hero. Him and Cyclops.
Yes, sir.
But all right. Y'all take it easy. Y'all enjoy your night. Thank you for stopping by. And hey, we're gonna see you next time, man.
Later, guys.
Yep.